support of the resolution. As it was mentioned, Michael Gerger is a former member of this chamber. I know that he'll serve on this committee well, and I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would you care to remark further? You care to remark further on the resolution? If not, let me try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Clerk, please call calendar 144.
On page 5, calendar 144, House Joint Resolution number 130, resolution confirming the nomination of George Waldron of Hamden to be an alternate member of the Judicial Review Council as a Workers' Compensation Commissioner. Favorable report of the Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
Question for the chamber is on acceptance of the committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution. Will you remark?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Waldron is from Hamden. He received a bachelor's degree from the University of New Haven, a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Bridgeport School of Law, and completed courses at Workmen's Compensation College at the University of Arizona. He has been serving as a Workmen's Compensation Commissioner for over 15 years. His prior experience includes attorney with the Connecticut law firm of Murphy and Bean, Superior Court clerk, lecturer on workers' compensation law, and teacher with the City of New Haven Neighborhood Youth Corps. His public service includes being one of the founders and current member of the Supporters of Connecticut Hospice, member of the Knights of St. Patrick, member of the board of the Farnham Neighborhood House Youth Center, and vice president of the Connecticut Irish American Historical Society. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including multiple recommendations for pro bono community service from the Connecticut Bar Association, United Way's Caring Award, and the 2004 Richard Blumenthal Patient Advocate Award for Life for Community Leadership with Connecticut Hospice. It is an honor to bring his name before you for reappointment as an alternate to the Judicial Review Board, and I urge adoption of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will you remark further? Will you remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted. Ms. Clerk, please call calendar 145.
On page 5, calendar 145, House Joint Resolution number 131, resolution confirming the nomination of Amado J. Vargas of Portland to be an alternate member of the Judicial Review Council as a Workers' Compensation Commissioner. Favorable report of the Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the acceptance of the Joint Committee favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
Question for the chamber, acceptance of the committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution. Will you remark, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Vargas is from Portland, and he currently serves as a commissioner of the Workers' Compensation Commission. Previously, he has worked as an attorney for the firm of Monstream and May, practicing workers' compensation law, attorney for the law offices of Robert Cullen, workers' compensation, and an assistant attorney general where he was responsible for workers' compensation issues and other related labor laws. Mr. Vargas has demonstrated his aptitude and competence for his role serving as a workers' compensation commissioner since 1993, working in 4 compensation districts. I have personal knowledge when he was assigned to the Middletown Workers' Compensation District. Many of my constituents had nothing but high praise for the way Mr. Vargas handled his position in the office in Middletown. With that, Mr. Speaker, I encourage a favorable vote on Mr. Armando Vargas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Would you care to remark further on the resolution before us? Would you care to remark further? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted. Ms. Clerk, please call calendar 146.
On page 5, calendar 146, House Joint Resolution number 132, resolution confirming the nomination of Charles F. Senek of Woodbury to be an alternate member of the Judicial Review Council as a Workers' Compensation Commissioner. Favorable report of the Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
This question before the Chambers of Substance Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution. Will you mark, Madam?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Senek is from Woodbury. He received a bachelor's degree with honors from the University of Bridgeport, a Juris Doctor from the University of Bridgeport School of Law, and was admitted to the Connecticut Bar in 1989. His work experience includes an associate attorney and partner for the firm of Dodd, Lessig, Renando, and Dalton, Superior Court Clerk, Special Deputy Sheriff for the New Haven County Sheriff's Department, the City of New Haven Corporation Counsel, and Office of the Attorney General, where he served as clerk. Mr. Senek has demonstrated his competence as a Workmen's Compensation Commissioner in Bridgeport and New Haven for the past 3 years, and I urge favorable support of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will you mark? Thank you, Madam. Will you mark further? Will you mark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted. Ms. Clerk, please call calendar 147.
On page 5, calendar 147, House Joint Resolution number 133, resolution confirming the nomination of Ann M. Noble, Esquire of Burlington, to be a member of and chairperson of the Connecticut Lottery Corporation. Favorable report of the Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
Question for the Chambers of Substance Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution. Will you remark, Madam?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ann Noble is from Burlington. She received a bachelor's degree from Cornell University and a Juris Doctor with honors from the University of Buffalo School of Law. Currently, she is a partner at Robinson & Cole in the Labor, Employment, and Benefits Group. Her public service includes Ethics Commissioner for the Town of Burlington, member and past president of the Board for the Children's Law Center, which represents indigent children in family court. She's a member and immediate past president of the Connecticut Women's Council, co-chair of the Bristol Chamber of Commerce's Human Resources Subcommittee. Ms. Noble is uniquely qualified by her professional training and personal community commitments to lead the state's lottery corporation, and I urge a favorable vote on the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam. Will you mark further? Will you mark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted. Ms. Clerk, please call calendar 200.
On page 6, calendar 200, House Resolution number 29, resolution confirming the nomination of Kevin M. Deneen, Esquire of Windsor, to be a member of the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Favorable report of the House Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move acceptance of the House Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
Yep. Question before the Chamber, accept the committee's favorable report and adoption resolution. Will you mark?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Deneen is from Windsor. He received a Juris Doctor with honors from the Uconn School of Law, bachelor degree in mathematics from College of the Holy Cross, and he was a member of the National Mathematics Honor Society. He is currently a partner with the firm of O'Malley, Deneen, Leary, Messina, and Ozwecki. Has been there since 1987. where he his practice is focused on representing individuals and the exclusive bargaining representatives of teachers, administrators, and other employee groups. He's a member of the Labor and Employment Committee of the Connecticut Bar Association and has spoken at seminars regarding the Teacher Negotiation Act and the provisions of the federal No Child Left Behind Act. Mr. Deneen also currently serves as a member of the State Education Arbitration Panel. He is extremely qualified for this responsibility, and I am pleased to bring his name of this dedicated public service servant before you again and urge adoption of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Would you care to remark further? Would you care to remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted. Any announcements or introductions? Representative Spallone.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to introduce to members of the Chamber a group from Valley Regional High School in Deep River, Connecticut, who are here in the gallery on the left side as we face the gallery. This is a 10th grade civics class from Ms. Dixon and Mr. Arnold's civics class at the high school, which is my alma mater as well. And I'd ask that the Chamber give them our usual warm welcome. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will the clerk please call calendar 201?
On page 6, calendar 201, House Resolution number 30, resolution confirming the nomination of Jacqueline Gorski-Mandick of West Hartford to be a member of the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Favorable report of the House Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move acceptance of the House Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
The question before the Chamber is on acceptance of the committee's favorable report and adoption resolution. Will you remark?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jacqueline Mandick is from West Hartford. She received an MBA from the State University of New York at Albany and a Bachelor of Science degree from Syracuse University School of Management. She currently serves as Director of Community and Institutional Relations at Trinity College, where she manages all aspects of the college's community relations, including oversight for the development of the Learning Corridor campus. She's a member of the YMCA Greater Hartford Minority Achievers Program Steering Committee and president of Mayor Perez's Rising Star for Hartford Charity. Her prior community service includes program development coordinator at Trinity, manager of public affairs and special projects for New York's Rural Metro Medical Services, and legislative associate for the New York State Agriculture Committee. I'm pleased to bring her name of this accomplished mother, scholar, and community activist before the Chamber today, and I urge adoption of the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will you remark further? Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Representative Farr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is another fine nominee from West Hartford for the Board of Pardons and Parole. As I indicated earlier, this is a very serious position that she will be serving in. It's really a balance between recognizing the potential of the people that are before them, the potential to be contributing members of a society, and also the potential to be reoffend, and to somehow give balance to that. And to find ways in which we can help people re-enter our society and be contributing members. I think she's got an excellent background and qualifications for the job, and I support the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would you care to remark further? Would you care to remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution adopted.
Will the clerk please call calendar number 202?
On page 6, calendar 202, House Resolution number 31. Resolution confirming the nomination of Joseph E. Millardo, Jr. of Middletown to be a member of the Board of Pardons and Paroles. Favorable report of the House Committee on Executive and Legislative Nominations.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move acceptance of the House Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Will you proceed, Madam?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Millardo is from Middletown. He received a Juris Doctor from Suffolk University Law School and a bachelor's degree from Fordham University, where he received the Fordham University Academic Excellence Award. He also received a certificate from Uconn's Labor Education Center Mediation Program. Currently, he is a partner with the law firm of Joseph Millardo and Thomason in Middletown and chairman of the Whiting Forensic Institute Advocacy Board. Previously, he served as a small claims commissioner for the Superior Court, as probate judge for the District of Middletown, and as a member of the Riverview Hospital for Children Advisory Board. I urge adoption of the resolution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Representative Kalinowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the nomination of Mr. Millardo. I've known Joseph Millardo for several years, a lifelong resident of the area, and he has truly a record of exceptional community service in Middletown. And not only that, he's a man of integrity, and he certainly will be an asset to the board. Madam Speaker, I urge adoption.
Thank you, sir. Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Will you remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please call calendar number 203?
On page 6, calendar 203, House Joint Resolution number 134. Resolution confirming the nomination of Leslie I. O'Lear, Esquire of West Hartford, to be chairperson of the Connecticut Housing Authority. Favorable report by the Committee on Resolution.
Representative Janowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Will you proceed, Madam?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Leslie O'Lear is from West Hartford. She received a Juris Doctor with honors from Western New England College School of Law, Masters of Law in Taxation from Boston University, and a bachelor degree with high honors from Central Connecticut State University. Currently, she heads the real estate group for the firm of Uconn, Bringbaum, and Shea. She also is an active member of the Connecticut Bar Association, Real Estate Finance Association, Real Estate Exchange, and Connecticut Women's Council. Her prior community service includes Director for the State and Insurance Risk Management Board, Incorporator and Trustee of the Hartford Seminary. Leslie O'Lear was appointed as a member of the Housing Finance Authority in November of 2004, acting as the interim chair following the resignation of Arthur Dietrich. During her public hearing, she indicated a commitment and focus on working towards greater affordable housing initiatives and Connecticut's industry cluster efforts. Her extensive experience and knowledge of real estate practices makes her uniquely qualified to lead the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, and I urge adoption of the resolution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam. Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Will you remark? Representative Bob Farr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Again, another fine nominee from the town of West Hartford. and someone, again, with great credentials for the job. She's been acting as chair since November of 2004. She obviously has the experience, the background, the educational qualifications for it, and obviously we've had an opportunity to judge her performance in the job, and she's been doing a good job, and I strongly support the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Farr. Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Will you remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please call calendar number 204?
On page 7, calendar 204, House Joint Resolution number 135. Resolution confirming the nomination of Elizabeth Horton Sheff of Hartford to be an ad hoc member of the Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority to represent the Mid-Connecticut Project. Favorable report by Committee on Executive Nominations.
Representative Ken Green, the distinguished chairman of Housing.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and adoption of the resolution.
The question is on adoption. Will you proceed, sir?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Ms. Elizabeth Horton Sheff is from Hartford. She received her associate's degree in science with high honors from Charter Oak State College. She is a licensed practical nurse. She did receive a licensed practical nurse diploma from Hartford State Technical College and St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center. She has also attended a leadership seminar at Harvard's Graduate School of Education. She is currently employed as the Director of Neighborhood Services for Hartford's Community Renewal Team. Mrs. Sheff's community service and activism is well known. She serves as councilperson for the Hartford Court of Common Council, where she is chairperson of Health and Human Services. She is also co-chair of United Church of Christ National Public Education Task Force. As some people may be aware, she's also a plaintiff in the Horton versus Sheff versus the State of Connecticut educational decision. She has received many honors and awards, including the City of Hartford Human Service Award, the Pioneer Women of the Year Award from Hartford College of Women, Capital Community College Board of Trustees Merit Award, and Distinguished Sojourner Truth Award from Tunstall's Community College. It is a personal honor and privilege to bring her name before you today. She has been a former constituent of mine, where she was very active in community services at the local housing development. She continues to be very active in community affairs. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I urge favorable vote on this resolution.
Thank you, Representative Green. Will you remark further on the resolution before us? Will you remark further on the resolution before us? If not, let me try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please call calendar number 218?
On page 15, calendar 218, substitute for Senate Bill number 963, an act concerning civil unions. Favorable report of the Committee on Finance, Revenue, and Bonding.
Representative Evelyn Mantilla.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Planning and Development Committee.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar number 55?
On page 16, calendar 55, substitute for House Bill number 6228, an act increasing the minimum wage. Favorable report of the Committee on Planning and Development.
Representative Mantilla.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar number 189?
On page 11, calendar 189, substitute for House Bill number 5654, an act creating a study of the compacts between the Mohegan Indian Tribe, the Mashantucket Pequot Indian Tribe, and the state of Connecticut. Favorable report of the Committee on General Law.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Legislative Management Committee.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar 190?
On page 12, calendar 190, substitute for House Bill number 6067, an act eliminating expiration dates on all gift cards and gift certificates. Favorable report of the Committee on General Law.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Finance Committee.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar number 195?
Also on page 12, calendar 195, substitute for House Bill number 6631, an act concerning childhood obesity. Favorable report of the Committee on Public Health.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar number 196?
On page 12, calendar 196, substitute for House Bill number 6732, an act concerning occupational licenses for persons engaged in solar-related work. Favorable report of the Committee on General Law.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Legislative Management Committee.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar number 198?
On page 13, calendar 198, substitute for House Bill number 6855, an act concerning service of liquor to minors and liquor server training. Favorable report of the Committee on General Law.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar 199?
On page 13, calendar 199, substitute for House Bill number 6866, an act concerning life insurance offered to state employees. Favorable report of the Committee on Insurance and Real Estate.
Representative Mantilla.
Madam Speaker, I move that this item be referred to the Committee on Labor.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Will the clerk please call calendar 93?
On page 1, calendar 93, House Bill number 6649, an act concerning the authority of the Commissioner of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Favorable report of the Committee on Public Health.
Representative Michael Christ from the fine city of East Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There are 6 bills for the consent calendar today. I move that the following bills be placed on the consent calendar for action later today. Calendar number 93, House Bill 6649, an act concerning the authority of the Commissioner of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Calendar number 135, House Bill 6795, an act concerning the private occupational student protection account. Calendar number 138, House Bill 6832, an act concerning the field of membership of a Connecticut credit union. Calendar number 179, House Bill 6581, an act confirming and adopting volumes 1 to 13 inclusive of the general statutes revised to 2005. Calendar number 181, House Bill 6863, an act making minor and technical changes to the insurance statutes. Calendar number 184, House Bill 6868, an act concerning filing deadlines for managed care ombudsman reports. And calendar number 193, House Bill 6618, an act concerning federal requirements for Medicare supplement plans. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Christ. Will the clerk please call calendar number 119? (119). We don't vote? No, we don't. We just called it. Hey, John Barry. Could I have the chamber's attention, please? This is with regard to the consent calendar that was just put before you. All of the items except calendar number 193 had been before you on the consent calendar. And then we would normally have gone to a vote. But because 193 had not been read in yesterday and appeared today, we will have to take our vote later on in this session today. I hope that's clear and people understand why we did not vote on the consent calendar at this time. Thank you very much for your indulgence. And the clerk will return to the call of the calendar, calendar number 119.
On page 8, calendar 119, substitute for House Bill number 6184, an act concerning renewal of lapsed paramedic licenses. Favorable report of the Committee on Public Health.
Representative Linda Orange.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move for acceptance of the Joint Committee's favorable report and passage of the bill.
The question is on acceptance and passage. Will you proceed, Madam?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what this bill in essence does is allows a paramedic whose light paramedic license has lapsed be able to recertify as an EMT and work as an EMT within a one-year window, or he may take a refresher course for the paramedics. I urge adoption of the bill.
The question is on passage. Will you remark further on the bill before us? It's not on the board. Will you remark further on the bill before us? Will you remark further on the bill before us? If not, will staff and guests please come to the well of the House and the machine will be open.
The House of Representatives is voting by roll call. Members to the chamber. The House is voting by roll call. Members to the chamber, please.
Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Please check the board, make sure your vote is accurately cast. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Please check the board, make sure your vote is accurately cast. Have all the members voted? If so, the machine will be locked and the clerk will take the tally. The clerk will announce the tally.
House Bill 6184, total number voting 139, necessary for passage 70. Those voting yea, 139. Those voting nay, 0, absent, not voting 12.
The bill is passed. Will the clerk please call calendar number 131?
On page 8, calendar 131, House Bill number 6786, an act concerning the state's long-term care policy.
Good afternoon, Representative Villano.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move adoption of the Joint Committee favorable report and passage of the bill.
The question is on acceptance and passage. Will you proceed, sir?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The bill requires the state's long-term care plan and policy, as developed by the Long-Term Care Planning Committee, to provide that individuals with long-term care needs have the option to choose and receive long-term care and support in the least restrictive and appropriate setting, in conformance with the U.S. Supreme Court's Olmstead decision. Madam Speaker, the amendment to the statute will ensure that self-determination and personal and family preferences are the basis for long-term care decisions made for and by people needing such care. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Villano. Will you remark further on the bill before us? Will you remark further on the bill before us? Representative Givens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to rise to echo Representative Villano's words. I support this bill and urge my colleagues to support it. It favors what the Long-Term Care Planning Council has suggested. It expands the array of services offered at the community level, and I think that is the direction we should be moving in. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Givens. And for the benefit of the chamber, I must tell you that the monitor is not working. So if you want to speak on this bill or any subsequent bill till the monitor gets fixed, I think you need to wave your hands in the air, please. Okay. Representative Belden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If I might, a question through you to the proponent.
Please proceed, sir.
If this bill is passed, does this set the criteria in place as a policy of the state of Connecticut, through you, Madam Speaker, that can be, taken to court to mandate that elderly have choices which may include such things as independent housing, etc.? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Villano.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If I understand the question, will this promote an opportunity for people in long-term care to access the courts to get the desired result?
Representative Belden.
Madam Speaker, let me reframe the question.
Please
If we
proceed.
pass this legislation and we are in fact setting in place in our law a policy that individuals with long-term care needs have the option to choose and receive long-term care and support in the least restrictive appropriate setting. When we adopt this law, will this policy now start a mandate that through the court system that would require perhaps that the least restrictive setting be put in place by the state of Connecticut, such as we have now for mentally retarded?
Representative Villano.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the answer to that is that I would hope that we'd never come to that situation that Representative Belden describes. We are today, with the statute, adopting state policy, and we have reasonable reason to believe that any state agency that has any part of the long-term care continuum will follow the state statute rather than ignore it. And if they do ignore it, I think there are administrative remedies at the state level to bring compliance. I think the courts are removed, sort of the last step of last resort before exhausting administrative remedies through the state agencies. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Villano. Representative Belden.
I thank the gentleman for his response. Madam Speaker, I believe our experience has been that when we publish laws such as this, and I'm 70 years old, and maybe sometime in the distant future, hope far distant future, I might require some long-term health care. I might not like going into a nursing home. So I might say the state of Connecticut has a policy that says that I shall be able to choose and I shall receive the least restrictive appropriate setting, which in my mind might be in my own home being taken care of 24 hours a day. And if that is in fact the policy of the state of Connecticut, I don't see any, or becomes the policy of the state of Connecticut, I don't see anything here in the fiscal note that even talks about any cost related to this. Through you, perhaps, maybe there's somebody who is more in tune with the legality of policies of the state of Connecticut that might be able to shed some light on, if we in fact pass this law today, what is the long-term responsibility of the state of Connecticut? Because as I understand this, you know, Chef versus O'Neill, all the other things that we have seen in the past, if we want to adopt this policy and we want to say we're going to provide to every elderly citizen the most appropriate, less restrictive care, then we ought to understand what we're doing today. If that's what this particular law will in fact start as a policy in the state of Connecticut. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember one night here where we talked about giving the Native Americans recognition. There are a number of things over the years where a few words in the statute bring about a monumental long-term liability to the state of Connecticut. Maybe it's not the case here. Maybe somebody else can answer that question better than I. But once we put this in the law, when I'm 75 or 80 or 85 and I'm not able to take care of myself, I know where I'm going. I'm going to this law, and I'm going to say the policy of the state of Connecticut shall provide individuals with long-term care option to choose and receive long-term care and support in the less restrictive appropriate setting. I'll leave perhaps somebody else on the floor would want to comment on that, but I think that this particular piece of legislation before us has a much greater potential impact than we're realizing here today. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Representative Gibbons.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the previous speaker raised some very valid points about this, having dealt with least restrictive settings in education for many years. There is always a cost associated with this. However, I believe that this bill, the way we understood it in Human Services, is that the Long-Term Care Planning Committee shall have a plan so that people who need to be in residential care, whether they be in nursing homes or in assisted living or some other form of care, do not all have to go into nursing homes, that there will be other options available to them. I don't believe the intent of the bill was to require the state to put in place all these different options in every single community right now. It was to allow us to going forward to plan for the options and to ensure that it wasn't going to be just nursing homes or just home care that would be available to people who needed these kinds of services. I do think that Representative Belden had a very valid point, though, and I think we need to be aware of how this could impact our finances. As I say, I don't think that was the intent of the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Gibbons. Representative Winkler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise agreeing with